So we were doing the beggar. We will start from page number 64. Page number 64. So till now we have read the story that the advocate, whose name was Sargi, he appointed the beggar in his home with the work of chopping wood, and he made an opportunity for him that if you chop the wood, then you will be getting some money. Means you will be getting one opportunity to earn money. But the beggar was completely weak and doubtful about how the work is going to happen. And Olga is the name of the cook who took the beggar in the shade where the logs are kept, which he need to cut. And she was showing kind of temper, and everything was being watched by Sargi from the window. Why you haven't submitted your ASL till now, Arpit? But the last day is over. Okay, after the class I will come to that part. Okay, now see. Next, he saw the pseudo teacher sit himself on a log and become lost in thought with his red cheeks resting on his fist. The woman flung down an axe at his feet, spat angrily, and judging from the expression of her lips, began to scold him. The beggar irresolutely pulled up a billet of wood towards him. It set it up between his feet and tapped it feebly with the axe, and billet wavered and fell down. The beggar again pulled it to him, blew on his freezing hand, and tapped it with his axe cautiously, as if afraid of hitting his overshoe or cutting off his finger. The stick of wood again fell to the ground. So now the advocate was watching the entire thing from the window. So he saw that the beggar, who is referred to as a pseudo teacher. Pseudo teacher means what? Fake teacher, means he was not at all a teacher. Okay, so that is why pseudo teacher. So that beggar was sitting on a log and he was completely lost in thought. He just doesn't know that what he's going to do. Okay, how he's going to cut the woods. Okay, he has never done this kind of job before. So his cheeks were red because outside is very cold, resting on his feet. So he was just like this, hanging on his face on the fist and sitting. He was completely lost. Then the woman, Olga, she came and she threw the axe in front of his feet, that this is the thing you need to work with, and spat angrily, means she just spoke angrily at him, and judging from the expression of her lips, began to scold him. She shouted at him that what you are worthless, good for nothing, just sitting, you need to do this, you need to do that. She kept on telling him. The beggar irresolutely pulled the billet of wood. So now the beggar was like kind of, he has to do the work, so he somehow pulled the wood, preparing it to be like chopped with the axe. But before the axe was chopped on it, the billet, means the wood, fell. Means he was completely, the movement was very much clumsy. He was very clumsy. Everything is dropping. Whatever he's keeping for cutting, it's just dropping. Again, it's dropping. And he was very much careful not to hit his toe or hit his feet or cut his finger with that sharp object. So while he was conscious about that part, he was completely careless about the wood. So every time he is trying to fix the wood for cutting, it's falling out. Sargi's anger had vanished, and he now began to feel a little sorry and ashamed of himself for having set a spoiled, drunken, perhaps sick man to work at menial labor in the cold. So now the Sargi was watching, and At first he was very angry. In the beginning he was very angry on this man, that he is a complete liar, he's a lazy man after all. But watching this man's movement, that he is completely worthless, he is good for nothing, he can't even hold the wood properly straight, so now he is feeling a bit sorry and ashamed. Means he felt kind of pity, that I'm forcefully making him to work just because to make him earn some money, but he is not at all fit for work. Okay, now he is feeling kind of sorry of himself for having get a spoiled, drunken, perhaps sick man to work a menial labor in the cold. So he is like feeling very much guilty, that what am I doing? I have just hired a complete drunk, spoiled man who is totally weak and sick. He is not able to do any work, and I am forcefully making him work in this cold. An hour later, Olga came in and announced that the wood had all been chopped. So after 1 hour, Olga, she came and informed the man, means informed Sergei, that all the woods have been chopped. Good, give him half a ruble, said Sergei. If he wants, so he can come back and cut wood on the first day of each month. We can always find work for him. So Sergei is obviously happy that, okay, good, okay, like give him 1 ruble. Ruble is a kind of currency. Give him 1 ruble, and you also tell him that he can come back to cut wood every first week of the month. Okay, so in the first week of the month he may come and he may cut wood. We will give him money like this. And if the wood cutting work is not there, we will definitely find some other work for him. Okay, so tell him to come every month. On the first of the month, the waif made his appearance and again earned half a ruble. Although he could barely stand on his legs, from that day on he often appeared in the yard, and every time work was found for him. Now he would shovel now put the woodshed in order, now beat the dust out of the rugs and mattress. Every time he received from 20 to 40 kopecks, and once even a pair of old trousers were sent out for him. So after that day, from thereafter, every month, in the beginning of every month, he will be coming to the home and some kind of work will be given to him, and in the end of the day he will earn some money and he will go. So in this way, sometimes he earned 40 kopecks, sometimes 20. Someday he also, not along with money, he also got to have some old trousers. Okay, so in this way, somehow different types of works were arranged for him. Different types of works like dusting the rugs. Okay, you know the rugs will be very much dusty, so you need to take one stick or baton and you need to hit it hard so the dust will come out. So that dusting work, keeping the woods in order, means in a kind of organized manner. So this kind of small works would be given to him. When Sergei moved into another house, he hired him to help in the packing and hauling of the furniture. This time the waif was sober, gloomy and silent. He hardly touched the furniture and walked behind the wagons, hanging his head, not even making a pretense of appearing busy. He only shivered in the cold and became embarrassed when the carterers jeered at him for his idleness, his feebleness, and his tattered fancy overcoat. After the moving was over, Sergei sent for him. So one time what happened, this advocate Sergei, he had to shift his home. He was shifting all the furnitures and all the things, all the stuffs from his home, and he called this beggar. So he came and he was called in order to help with the moving of the things, carrying the things, putting in the vehicle and all. But actually he did nothing. He was just going here and going there, looking this, looking that, and as because it was freezing cold, so he was shivering. So that was the only thing, he was shivering. He was shivering and he was feeling embarrassed because other people were staring at him, that how funny, how badly he was dressed and he's not doing any work. So with that sense, he used to feel ashamed, he used to feel embarrassed, and he will be shivering. Other than that, he did not even touch a single furniture. Okay. Now after the entire moving and shifting was done, the Sargi called him. Well, I'm happy that my words have taken effect, he said, handing him a ruble. Here's for your pains. I see you are sober and have no objection to work. What is your name? So the Sargi is having a belief that he is able to make this man come on track. Okay, so finally this man is earning money by doing some work. So he is kind of appreciating him. He is telling that I'm glad to see that finally you have listened to what I have told you and you are becoming sober, and this is the money, you keep this money, this is for all your effort. But actually he did nothing. Okay, so but still he got some money, and and he is also appreciating that thank God you are civilized, you are sober now, and you are not at all objecting any kind of work, so this is a good thing. So now you tell me what is your name. So in this so many days he actually never asked his name. He was just like a beggar. So now he failed to ask his name. So he asked, what is your name? Lashkov. So his name was Lashkov. Well, Lashkov, I can now offer you some other cleaner employment. Can you write? So I have some other type of jobs for you. Instead, means till now you have been doing this kind of labor, menial labor works. So I have a little bit cleaner job for you where you don't have to do this much of physical effort and all. So can you write? He just asked him whether he is literate or not. Lashkov said, I can. Then take this letter to a friend of mine tomorrow and you will be given some copying to do. You will be given some copying to do. Work hard, don't drink, and remember what I have told you. Goodbye. So he given him one letter and said that take this letter and meet one of my friend tomorrow. It's a recommendation letter. So he will give you one job. What is the job? The job is copying job. Now in those days you won't be getting a Xerox machine as you are having now. So whatever notes you need, you just go to the Xerox centers and make a printout multiple times, whatever you want. But in those time it was not there. So things used to get copied. How? Because they used to have people to copy. So documents, paper documents will be given and one person will be copying it from one thing to another. Okay, so he was given the work of copying. That is why he was asked that whether he can write or not. So then he said that remember what I have told you, always remember that you need to work and earn money. Okay, don't ever get diverted from this line, and best of luck. So goodbye, like that. Pleased at having put a man on the right path, Sergei tapped Lashkov kindly on the shoulder and even gave him his hand at parting. Lashkov took the letter and from that day forth came no more to the yard for work. 2 years went by. Then one evening, as Sergei was standing at the ticket window of a theatre paying for his seat, he noticed a little man beside him with a coat collar of curly fur and a worn sealskin cap. This little individual timidly asked the ticket seller for a seat in the gallery and paid for it in copper coins. So now, Lashkov has been given one recommendation letter, and for this, Sergei is feeling a kind of peace of mind that I have finally made a man like a man. Now he will be earning, he will be having a good enough life. Okay, so he was very much satisfied with his own action. He was very much at peace and pleased. But after that day, he did not meet Lashkov anymore because Lashkov won't be having any work with him. He is no longer working those kind of laborious works for him. So he completely he's gone. So there was a long gap of 2 years. So after 2 years, one day, one evening, Sergei was standing in the ticket counter and he was booking his ticket. Okay, he was booking the ticket for the theater show. So he noticed another man who was kind of small in height, kind of small type of person, who was also booking the ticket in the gallery and giving copper coins. Means good enough. Lashkov, is that you? Cried Sergei, recognizing in the little man his former woodchopper. How are you? What are you doing? How is everything with you? So this Sergei, he suddenly recognized that this is Lashkov. So he wondered, Lashkov, is that you? Oh, how are you doing? What are you doing? How is everything with you? Like, because as you know, like after 2 years he's meeting this man again, so he normally asks the question. All right, I am a notary now and I'm paid 35 rubles a month. So he said that I'm fine, I'm doing good. Now I am doing the work of a notary. Now what is this notary? Notary is in a post in the law firm, something to do with the lawyers and the laws and the courts. Okay. So he is a notary now, and as a salary every month he is getting 35 rubles. Okay, so it's a good enough salary for him, good enough. Thanks heaven, that's fine. I'm delighted for you. For your sake, I'm very, very glad, Lashkov. You see, you are my godson, in a sense. I gave you a push along the right path, and you know. Do you remember what a roasting I gave you, yeah? I nearly had you sinking into that ground at my feet that day. Oh, thank you, old man, for not forgetting my words. So now this Sergei, he's very happy that is excellent. You are a notary now, you're earning 35 rubles a month. That's great. Okay, thanks heaven. And then he's taking the credit that I'm really very very happy, very very glad about you. So finally you are like my grandson. You are my grandson. Godson, not grandson, godson. Now what is this godson concept? Godson means like he is trying to prove that he is the godfather for Lashkov. Now what is this godfather? Godfather means someone who is helping him, someone who is taking care of him, and like a mentor helping him to grow. So if a person is able to do that, take care of a person in that way, helping him to grow like a mentor, then he is becoming a godfather. So in that way he is telling that, so finally means you have to tell me thank you. Okay, thank you for what? Because I only made this happen, you know, like if I haven't scolded you like that, if I haven't made you work, if I haven't forcefully made your habit changed, then you would not have reached here. So you should be grateful to me. You should really think that I am your godfather. Okay, so don't you remember how I used to tell you, how I used to scold you? That day I was almost putting you inside the soil near my feet. Okay, so he was talking about the old actions and all, but then he's telling that thank you for not forgetting my words and having a good life. Okay, so we will end our class here today, and in our next class we will finish the chapter with detailed explanation. Okay.